guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new to the channel, always consider on hitting the subscribe button as it lets me know you enjoy the content I'm bringing out for you guys. Alright guys, 9% of my audience is subscribed. Come on guys, we gotta change that. Let's get some more subscribers up in here. I got some great stuff going. For those of y'all who do not know, I have started a series called The Road to Regionals. It is in the playlist on the channel, and I will link the playlist in the description box below, so y'all consider giving them videos a view. But without further,
this is my updated Adamancipator list for the 2021 format.
Show you my card choices. They are controversial, but they'll make sense as I explain it more in detail. So, going on to the main deck. The bread and butter of the deck, Adamancipator Researcher. This card is an extender. It also plays for Nibiru. We play three of the Seeker. Another thing, this is an extender on its own, and then Analyzer is another card that plays for Nibiru. We do not worry about Nibiru in this deck. As long as we manage our resources correctly, we can play for Nibiru. These are the 9 Adamancipator monsters that I play. They're the best ones. You should max out on all of them because it's what gives you your consistency. And then for the second engine we're playing in here, we're playing 3 of the Prank Kids Roxy's, and the controversial chose the one Lampsies. The 500 inflicting time damage, it can come up, and especially if you're playing in locals, because if you're going into a long game, because this deck can take some turns up, you can just burn them and win the game with that. And also, I have a better extra deck option than what most builds was using. Then for the non-Adamancipator monsters, we play 2 of the Doki Doki, 3 of the Guardian, which basically says I'm not going to be losing in the Nibiru or hand traps, and then the Supplier, which searches and just a good mill off of your Adamancipator monsters when you excavate to 5. So these are really good. These are just your really good ones. I don't max out on the Doki Doki. Doki Doki is kind of situational, and a lot of times you'll just kind of be there. So you don't really need it as your normal summon, especially when normal summon monsters such as especially when monsters such as Ash and traps such as Imperm exist in this format. Then for the extenders, 3 of the Parallel Exceed, best, get you whatever rank 4 you want. 2 of the Hat Tricker. If y'all watched my second place build, I did not play Hat Tricker. I played the little rat, but the Hat Tricker's so good because if you go second, it's just a free body on board with no restrictions. Then we play I cut the stone for the Tackle Crusader, so I only play 1 of this. So the thought process behind this is Winda is a really good card, so we don't have really that much of a main deck way to out it, so this is your best way to out Winda. And then for the spells, we play 3 Adamancipator Signs, and this is where the controversial comes in. 3 Dark Ruler no more, and 3 evenly matched in the main. The idea behind this is hand traps are really, with Triple Tactics Talents being a card, hand traps kind of are getting to be like B tier things in your deck, because a lot of decks now can play for 1 to 2 hand traps. So instead of just putting in hand traps, I wanted to put in blowout cards. And also going second, if your opponent builds up a board that's really hard to deal with, which Adamancipator does have a hard time dealing for sometimes a good board, this kind of can solve that issue. You could crack their board, you're not really worried about damage, because when you put up your own board, after you take away the resources, they're not really able to do nothing from there. Then, the must in the deck, I do not care, Triple Tactics Talents, you have to have it. The people who do play hand traps, punish them for this. Steal them Dragoons. I tell you, ever since I put this in here, it's given my win rate in this deck a whole lot more of a win rate, because if I get Dragoon or if I get hand trapped, I can dig too deep or take a card out of their hand or just steal something on their board. And then the 1 Call by the Grave. Just really good to take care of hand traps or just take care of anything. Eldritch is a good deck right now, so you hit that Eldritch and then they have a hard time playing. And then the last card in the deck is the Phantom Shade, the Shade Brigading. You can't play Monster Reborn in here. I have my Monster Reborn on another deck, but I probably would play Monster Reborn in here. And if you want to keep it at even 40, you could cut this because you already have extenders. This is just another extender. If you open up with this and the Parallel Exceed, it's pretty much full combo as long as they don't take care of the Granite. Going into the extra deck, 1 of the Meow Meow. This is just what gets your normal summoned Roxy's off into a monster to where you can go into a Link 2. Almiroge's best card in the deck because it turns that Trapper turns any of your lower level Adamancipator monsters into extension if you had the Parallel Exceeding Hand. The Doodle Doodle Doo, this just gets you another body on board, another rank 4 body on board. Christian Hacker Fabrics, you don't have to rely on this as much now as you used to. This is just basically saying, okay, you Nibiru me, I can play for Nibiru. IP Masquerade always ends in the end combo. Nightmare Unicorn, spin back your opponent's monster and just give yourself some good board. Appaloosa now. Appaloosa is a really good card. You can put something else in here if you choose to. There's just sometimes if you're going really late in the games that Appaloosa could just come up. You can just put a 2400 beater on board, and a lot of times your opponent can't play for the 3 negates, so you can win off just that alone. But the Cockameros just kind of take care of the rest of the stuff for you. I just put this back in here because some of your inboards can actually be crazy enough to end on this with the IP Masquerade and in our body. One con in the deck is your access code Talker. That's all the links that I play in the deck. Herald of the Arclight. It's there, but I hate it, and I'm gonna tell you why I hate it. Because a lot of it only has a 1k booty on it, so a lot of your opponents can just like normal summon, attack over it, and go main phase 2 and do what they want to do. I think it's still kind of mandatory to be played in the deck. And a lot of people are like, you cut the dropsies, how do you well, a lot of times in on a tuner, 2 level, the Doki Doki in the level 2, you can make it without the dropsies. Rapite, you know, Rapite, it's just a starter in its own right, and it's a DD Crow when your opponent's turn to the field. It's a really good card, I like it. It does what it does. Some decks that need that body in the graveyard, if you just take care of that, it kind of makes it hard for them to keep pushing through on later turns. The new controversial choice I'm playing is the FA Don Dragster, and that's the reason that I put in the Pray Kids Lampsey. There are some crazy boards you can end on Don Dragster. Another thing that this deck kind of loses to a lot of times is like some decent spells and decent traps. This takes care of that. Obviously part of the end combo. This card is really cracked. It can help you win games that you sometimes couldn't win. And then obviously the Dweller in the Granite. I'll go ahead and go into the I guess I'll go ahead and go into the side deck here real quick since I ran through that pretty fast. For the side, if you know you're going, if you know that you're absolutely going first in the next game, or you're playing where it needs it, you go 3 Lancia, and then I put my Ash Blossoms in the side deck because Ash is still a really good card. Ghost Dawn Haunted Mansion. This card is really cracked against some decks to where they can't play. Droll and Lockbird, and then the last card it's just, you know, ends turns, and the last card that you could put in here is going to be your Spell and Trap removal, such as your 2 Cosmic and your 1 Feather Duster. It's just in another deck. Alright guys, so this is my updated Adamancipator list. I've had a lot of fun with it. I have some success, I have some non-success with it, but you know what, ever since, I'm going to tell you guys, when I put this card in, this card is really good no matter what going test turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. It does not matter. This card can win you games that other times that game wouldn't be able to be won. Alright guys, well I appreciate you turning in today's deck profile. I might get a few more of these out, I'm not for sure because I'm really focusing hard on the new series, but I want to get this back to you guys. Anyways, if you have any suggestions for the deck that I may not put in here that you found success with and you're still playing this deck, let me know in the comment section below. As always guys, I'll see you on the next episode.